This is the Alexander Nevsky Monastery in St. Petersburg in Russia. This isn't just a place where monks are locked away to pray. This really serves a wide range of needs for the church and the city as well. I'm Bill Turpie. Welcome to Vision Today. There are 12 churches located in this monastery. That's just one of them. It's a huge facility. In addition, there's a theological academy, a seminary, and a charity hospital. And there are several important cemeteries here where some of Russia's greats are buried, including some of its royal family and many of its great composers and artists. Composers with names like Rubinstein, Rimsky-Korsakov, Tchaikovsky. And Fyodor Dostoevsky, the great Russian Christian author, is buried here. This is also known as a lavra, and lavra means large monastery, and there are only 4 of them in the Soviet Union. And really, these monasteries serve as a repository for the life of its people and a center for that life. Now here's what's next on Vision. This is St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow in Red Square, just outside of the walls of the Kremlin. The Kremlin is often the center of power in the Soviet Union, and for the past 70 years, even though this has been an atheist state, symbols of the church have been right at the center of power. I'm Bill Turpie. Welcome to Vision Today. St. Basil's was built in the middle of the 16th century by Ivan the Terrible after a victory over the Tatars. This is named after St. Basil, who was also known as the Holy Fool. There's a tradition in Russian Orthodoxy that a priest can imitate a form of insanity and yet at the same time speak truth. Ivan the Terrible listened to the truth that Basil spoke. However, when St. Philip, one of the metropolitans of Moscow, spoke truth to Ivan the Terrible, for that he was killed. Ivan the Terrible asked the architects of this cathedral if they could repeat the feat again, if they could build something even more beautiful. When they answered yes, he had them blinded. I'm about 300 feet in the air in Barcelona, Spain, on a walkway between towers in the church designed by Antonio Gaudí. This is known as the Temple of the Holy Family. I'm Bill Turpie. Welcome to Vision Today. Gaudí is the one from whom we derive the expression gaudy, but you decide if this church is Gaudí or gaudy. This church is like a gigantic mosaic, every aspect a tile finding its way into a special place. These aren't just church towers, these are the fingers of God reaching into the sky. At the end of each, a colored cross. On the way up are green leaves and white doves. The hand of a creator is everywhere. Gaudí, a committed Catholic, was that creator. And even though he's been dead now for over 60 years, Barcelona wants very much to finish this structure. Whether it's Gaudí or gaudy doesn't matter. This is the Old Ship Church in Hingham, Massachusetts, started in 1635 by the Puritans. This building was erected in 1681. It's one of the oldest churches in the United States. What went on here in terms of a Sunday morning tells us a lot about what Puritan religion was all about. I'm Bill Turpie. Welcome to Vision Today. If you were part of this town or community, your attendance was required by the Puritans at Sunday worship. It wasn't optional. The service began with a 15-minute prayer, and then the sermon started. When the sermon began, this hourglass was turned over. It was turned over twice during the length of that sermon, and after that 2-hour sermon, they broke for dinner. Then they came back in the middle of the afternoon, and church went on until the evening hours. They went home when it was dark. This was all part of what the Puritans considered their Sabbath, or day of rest. This is Old Town Square in Prague, Czechoslovakia, and this is the statue to Jan Hus, the great Czech reformer, or as he would be known in English, John Huss. Huss began preaching in 1402, and thousands came out to hear him, for one reason, because he preached in the Czech language and not in Latin. I'm Bill Turpie. Welcome to Vision Today. Huss was a Roman Catholic priest and theologian who was greatly influenced by the views of England's John Wycliffe. Huss believed in the authority of the Scripture and that the clergy of his day should clean up their act. The clergy of the Middle Ages weren't exactly known for their high moral standards. The Archbishop of Prague warned Huss to back off, but he refused. Eventually, the church had him tried for heresy. Huss never wanted to leave the Roman Catholic Church, but he was burned at the stake in 1415. Historians say you could hear him sing a hymn while the fires consumed his body. His courage and resistance has made him a hero of the Czech people. This is the Mormon Tabernacle in Salt Lake City. It's where the world-famous Mormon Tabernacle Choir performs. I'm Bill Turpie. Welcome to Vision Today. The Mormon Tabernacle Choir has sold more recordings than any other choral group in the world. The choir, of course, sets high musical standards, but all of its members are volunteers. There's been a Mormon choir singing here in Salt Lake ever since the Mormon pioneers first settled this valley in 1847. The tabernacle was begun in 1867. There are no pillars here, but the roof is held up by an intricate series of wooden latticework held together by leather thongs. This is one of the largest and best organs in the world with 12,000 pipes. And you really can drop a pin at this end and hear it anywhere in the tabernacle. Here's what's coming on Vision.